from Give Me More Squeeze, and in this video I want to discuss one of the stocks that do have potential for this upcoming week starting September 7th. So this stock is going to be BLNK Charging, or ticker symbol BLNK, and it does have two catalysts, one of them being it might be part of the infrastructure bill, being that this is an EV charging company. And the other part is that BLNK Charging is actually 35% shorted. So it has two things, that being a potential short squeeze and as well being part of the infrastructure bill that would be voted, I think, on September 27th. So a decisive upcoming date coming for that stock and other EV charging stocks in general. So looking at this, I did a Fibonacci retracement quickly to see where the stock had previous support and resistance. So as you can see, it reached the high of 64.50, and I believe the lowest was 1.25. So looking here just on this line, as you can see here, the 25.64, 25.41 line right here, this would be the major support line I would see here. So as you can see, it did end up bouncing from here 1, 2, 3, almost 4 or 5 instances. So this is a really good support line. As you can see, the 25, 40, 25, maybe even like the 26.12 area. So definitely that part would be a strong support, I would say. And then let's take a look at the major resistance. The second one would be on that line right here. So you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. So I'd say like the 43 for sure. The 44.36 area is definitely tricky for this stock. And then the second one would be the 53, then the 64.5. So let's take a quick look at Ordex and unusual whales, and one article as well. So looking at Ordex, really good utilization here, 100%. This is amazing. It just means that there's no stock to borrow. That's all it means, that they shorted it to a point that there's no other stock that can borrow to short. It's that simple. So any volume, and someone that did actually start shorting this stock recently would be under immense pressure to cover his position because of panic, obviously. This stock does have the potential to be bought up within the upcoming weeks, just because, like I said, the infrastructure bill, the voting date is set to be, I think, September 27th, and we're currently on September 6th. And usually people would start accumulating around that, hoping that the bill passes and BLNK ends up being part of the infrastructure bill, or being contracted to start building some of these electric charging stations that are out there in the infrastructure bill. So definitely something to look forward to. So I believe that there would be some volume picking up in the upcoming weeks, hopefully, and that volume enough would start to squeeze some of these guys out. Again, utilization 100%, really great. Cost to borrow 12.54, relatively high, but not as high as other stocks that are in around the same area of shortage. So BLNK is 35.59% short of the free float. BBIG is around the same, but it's in the hundreds for the cost to borrow. But again, this is like a different game. So looking here, I wanted to show you as well on Finviz. So right here we have sort of like a pennant breakout playing. Some would argue that this candle, it's not within the pennant, so it's not a pennant, but regardless, like I said, it does have the potential to break that. So if it did break, the first thing I would look to break is the 37.33. And then, like I said, the second major one would be like around the 44 area. 53, then you're looking at 64.50 pretty much. Volume was not that high, to be honest with you. Last Friday, less than 1 million is not like a lot compared to whatever's happening in the market. However, the company does have good sales quarter to quarter, 175%. Sales past 5 years, 9.5%. PS5 earnings per share past 5 years, 37.20%. So it's looking good on the fundamental sides as well. It does have the potential. So disregarding the short squeeze and everything, it does have potential as a good company. Looking here on this article, 3 electric vehicle charging stocks that will benefit from the infrastructure bill, and that was on August 13th. So please keep that in mind with the information we discussed here. So they definitely say ChargePoint, FGO, and then finally BLNK charging. And looking at these, I want to point out 2 things that actually caught my eye. First of all is the price of the stocks of each one of these. So ChargePoint is around 25.18 at that date. FGO is at 11.01. And then you're looking at 34.09 for BLNK. But the estimates just show you, and again, these are just estimates, but like it just shows you how institutions or people who are interested in this stock perceive the stock in general. So EPS is expected to increase by 93.4%. That's for ChargePoints. And then if you go to FGO, it's expected to increase, I think the revenues, the EPS is expected to increase at 52.9%. And then here for BLNK, EPS is expected to increase by 21.4%. Looking at the revenue, you're expecting 99.2%, which is higher than FGO at 64.4%, and then higher than, it's not higher than ChargePoint, but 34.7% for the revenue for ChargePoint. So again, closed numbers, but I believe that BLNK already has the higher price of them. So again, with the infrastructure bill coming in, that's something to look for if they do end up being contracted to start building some of these. And again, I don't believe that ChargePoint or FGO are shorted that much, or the utilization is that high. So that's something that gives the price action to BLNK in general an edge, the upcoming price action. So that's something definitely to look for. Looking at unusual ways, I wanted to show you the flow for BLNK here. So as you can see, there's a lot of sells for the 33.5 and the 34, the 35, the 36, the 33 calls for September 10th mainly. And when I see these, it's one of the 2 things. There either were leaps on the BLNK stock that people bought leap calls and they started selling them because the expiration date is upcoming, because most of these sales were on September 3rd. Or actually, these are people that are owning the BLNK stock and they are selling covered calls in order to gain from the premium at that time while they're holding the stock waiting for it to move. So definitely it seems that there's a lot of holders here by looking at this, and they're selling covered calls using their shares as collateral. And it's something I would definitely speak in one of my other videos, how you can actually start selling covered calls to benefit from holding the stock while you hold it and still make revenue from the stock. So it's a strategy out there, but some of you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, so hopefully I'll do a video on that. And let me know in the comments if you would like to know something else or like me to discuss something else. Definitely put the effort for that one. So to look at here, number of calls 61.2%, number of puts is the 38.8%, and then the premium, the volume is 57.7%, and the put is 42. Premium for the call is 53.3%, and for the puts 46.7%. Ask bid size 55%, and then the bid size is 45.0%. So again, this looks bullish to me, and specifically with the ask bid side, that people are slapping the ask. It just shows desperation to get into these contracts. And then these are breakdowns to specific premiums. So September 10th seems the most activity on. Then you have September 3rd. This is past due, so it's not relevant to discuss on this day, to be honest. But looking at the alerts right here, if you go to BLNK, you wouldn't find that there's a lot of alerts happening. Last one was on April 29th, and somebody purchased the $46 call for May 7th of 2021. So there hasn't been a lot of recent alerts of whales getting into BLNK in general. I'll keep posting if something changes on that end, but I believe just by looking at the flow in general that it looks like a lot of people do own the stock and are selling covered calls, waiting for the stock to start moving. And that's something good. That shows that a lot of people are still holding to the stock and not selling it, waiting for a potential squeeze, or waiting even for something, like I said, for the vote day on September 27th for the infrastructure bill. So something to look forward for sure. And that's it. So hope you guys like that one, and please feel free to subscribe, like this video, write comments or suggestions, any other ticker symbols that you would like to have discussed in the channel, and I'll definitely make the effort to have this one, and hope you guys enjoyed that one.